FLOSSTUBE. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in South Jersey. My name is Debbie, and today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, and this is FLOSSTUBE number 15, and it is my December stitching update. How is everybody? Good? Since last you saw me, which probably is a day or two ago, because I just uploaded my whip parade. The reason for this video, and it is going to be fast, it's probably going to be my shortest, even with my talky self, it is going to be fast because I only had 4 whips for December, and I just need to get back on my track of recording every month, and I did not do that. I did October and November together because if you've been with me, you know I was working on the Joey Forget About It Super Seeker project to get it finished and framed for Christmas, which I did, and I did. And he loved it, so thank you for those. Thank you to those of you who asked about it. He did love it. It is not hung yet. Surprise. But I feel like if I don't get myself back on track and organized, we're going to be all out of whack all year. And if you are a Virgo, like I am a Virgo, lists, organization, staying on track, attention to detail, it's our love language. So I needed to get this done. I probably will not actually upload it. When you see this, it will not be January 14th. It will probably be closer to the end of the month. But because my whip parade just came out and nobody needs this much of me, right? So I'll probably wait, but then that will put me back on track. So when I come back in February, I will have my whole month of January stitching, and then we're rolling again. Okay, so going to be really short, even for me, talking me, going to be short because I don't have a lot. I just did my whip parade, and if you watch my whip parade, you're going to have just seen these 4 whips, and that's all I did. And you'll see why. There is a reason I only got 4 done, and not just because it's December and it's crazy and the holidays are busy and all that stuff. So first things first, thank you to all who have liked, subscribed, commented. I know whip parades bring in a lot of viewers. I myself am one of those. I search whip parade so that I can watch everyone's whip parades, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'm thinking by the time this is uploaded, we'll be getting the end of January, kind of getting back to normal. So, apologies. In my whip parade, my plan was to show you my whip and insert a before picture. Every program I tried to use said that my video was too large. I split it in half. Your video's too large. At that point, I decided that nobody cares that much about my before pictures for me to divide it yet again. And, you know, I'd rather you see it all than say, oh no, this is Whip Parade Part 3. No, we're not watching 3 of her whip parades. So, you know, it's kind of hard to do a whip parade and not take an hour to do it. And of course, if I paid for these programs, that would be a different story. I don't have any need for that. I mean, professionally, I have a department that does all of that kind of stuff for me. And personally, only for a whip parade once a year would I use these programs for anything like that. So I'm sorry. I did, before I gave up on the idea of trying to get the photos, the before photos in, which I did, went to the trouble of going back through whip parade a year ago and, you know, screenshotting, and I did all of that, and I cropped them, and I lightened them, darkened them, whatever, to make them, you know, true. Anyway, before I gave up, I watched several whip parades, and I would say I probably watched 7 whip parades. Only one person showed before photos. So I figured it's okay. It's okay. And sorry that I just do not have the technological skill set for this. I feel like I'm holding tough for my age, but that's a lot. And it wasn't even that. I knew how to insert the picture because I actually like did a little sample to see if I could do it. That was not the hard part. I just did not want to break this video, my whip parade video, up. So anyway, spent way too much talking about that. So the agenda is we have whips, past finishes, starts, plans, haul, the extra segments. It's the little things, book talk, binge talk. So let's get started because we're already 6 minutes in and I told you this was going to be short. So let's just get rolling. And of course, now my phone starts ringing, right? So we're just going to make them wait, whoever it is. All right, so first, and again, if you watch my whip parade, you just saw these, but for me, I need to be back on track. Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. I love this. I never get tired of looking at it. I am stitching this on 14 Count Haunted by Picture This Plus, and I started it December 18th of 2019. And here's where I am. So I'm certainly getting there at this stage. And I would love to see it come up on my Tiny Decisions wheel for come up soon, and I will probably try and give it a good amount of love because I'd love to have that hanging for fall. Okay, next, Seashell Wreath by Cooler Design Studio. Cooler Classic Cards. Seashell Wreath. Again, I suspect this picture is not great. And let me digress for 1 minute. Or 1 minute, 30 seconds. So in my whip parade, I had commented on a chart, one chart in particular, Rosewood Manor. It's called Merry Christmas Quilts. And I commented about the fact that I was in in my local needlework shop at the time and saw it hanging, saw the model stitched hanging, and said, I love that, have to have it, and all the things that go with it. And when they got me the chart photo, like this was awful. It was awful. And I thought to myself, I would have never, ever bought this if I had not seen it hanging on that wall. And I guess I just wondered out loud in my whip parade, rambling as I do, and as I am continuing to do, why designers, because photos are so critical, right? You want everybody to see what it's going to look like. Why very often the photos not only don't capture what it's going to look like, but don't even come close. Like, I get it, photos, it's very hard. I'm a real estate agent. We photograph houses. We don't. I don't. I pay a photographer. And even still, sometimes so hard to capture. But at least the attempt is there, and at least you get a good representation. So, and I wanted to do this really quickly, so I didn't write down her name, but one of my commenters actually had some valuable insight into that. She said, because, it's so easy to steal charts, copy charts, whatever, that designers sometimes intentionally don't make the photos, the cover photos, amazing. Like, they don't necessarily want you to get all that detail in case you happen to be one of those people. And I still can't fathom how this would happen at all. But I suppose if you are someone very creative, you can look at that detailed, beautiful photo and maybe copy it. I don't know. But that was her point. Her point was sometimes it was intentional, simply to avoid that. And I get that. But I feel like if that's one side of the story, and then the other side of the story is like just awful, like awful photos, awful representation of what this amazing project is going to look like. If I'm the designer and I put in all that work, I want you to have some idea of how that is going to come out. And this particular chart I was talking about, you would have no idea. Not a good representation of color, not a good representation of anything about it. It was meh at best. So I feel like there is some kind of a middle ground between, I get it, you don't want someone stealing your work because it's so pristine and so perfect in the cover photo, to we're going to walk right on by that chart every single time, unless the actual project, the finished design that you put your heart into is hanging on someone's wall, and you say, and someone walking by it says, I need to have that. So that's that. Anyway, I find this is one of those charts. I find that it will end up being much better when it is finished. All that to say, started page 2, and here I am. So I did change some of the colors, as if you've been with me, you know this. The blues are a little different. The words are going to be a little different. I'm going with more of like a steely blue than a baby blue, and you all know how I feel about baby blue. So we don't need to go into my father's choice of pink color for all things wood. If you know, you know. Okay, next. See, we're on 3 out of 4. Alan Maley's Gracious Era by Dimensions. I don't know if it's a gold collection. I would imagine it is. I love this. I wish I could be her, you know? So, last time I showed it, and not in the whip parade, but the real last time I showed it, I told you I had a page finish. Not true. Because the next time it came up on the wheel, I realized that this poor lady was cut off about here. So it was dimensions charts look like maps. Like you need like a map table. And because of that, to print a working copy, something's going to get cut off. What I didn't know was I intentionally enlarged it, so I knew it was going to get cut off, and then promptly forgot, because it's been a few years. Because this is all kit fabric, kit floss, kit everything. But I started it on January 1st of 2021. So let's face it, I wasn't going to remember that I did that. It wasn't until I was trying to decide whether to do this page or this page, and this page wasn't lining up quite right, and I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't really want to be bothered. So I'm like, well, I'll just copy this page and start there. And that's when I realized that this page had more on it than what my working copy of page 1 had. But it is now a page finish. And of course, it's going to have a boatload of backstitch at the end of the day. But standing back, it's pretty cool. I love the way the buildings in the back here. Like, who would have thought with purples you'd be able to achieve that kind of like falling snow, but looking at the gray buildings through the falling snow effect. I love that. And I worked in Philadelphia for a lot of years, so I do know that that actually does happen. When it really, really, really snows, it's a pretty cool, the way the buildings kind of blur a little. Okay, and now the reason that we only have 4 whips and why we're still 14 minutes in, yet zipping along at the same time. Autumn in the Village by Stony Creek. If you've been with me from the beginning, you know that this design and I have been in a love-hate relationship. I love it, and I have all the others. Here are the others in the back. If you haven't seen them, you can't really see them. But I started this on in May of 2019, and I started stitching it on 14 count Ivory Ada by Zweigart. So many problems with my fabric choice. One, why on earth would I have not picked a more autumny color? Why, you ask? Because I was not yet using fabric like we have at our disposal. And there were way less fabric dyers then. Let's just put it that way. There was Picture This Plus. There were now people dye beautiful, beautiful fabrics and beautiful colors. There weren't that many options, but I wasn't caught up in that yet. So ivory it is, It's ivory in the design. Good enough for me, right? Good enough for Stony Creek, good enough for me. 14 count, I no longer or rarely start anything on 14 count unless it's something small that there's a reason why 14 count works best. So, all that to say, love, hate, almost put it into timeout. I just didn't love it. I felt like I was never going to get through it. Should I start it over? All of that. I did not do any of those things. This is the thing I did. It's not finished. No backstitch. Sorry. Also no ironing. Literally, I was working on it until like the day after New Year's. But I devoted a lot of time. Probably, I don't know. I'm going to say 14, 15, 16 stitching days to finishing this. I think when I picked it up, I was somewhere over here at this time. And then I'm like, you know what? I could get this little tiny house and then this big house and then a little tree and a lamppost and a couple of bushes. Yes, I can get it done. And I did. So the next time it comes up, I'm going to try and I can't see what you say. The next time it comes up, I am going to backstitch it. And I am going to backstitch it all at once. So however long it takes, sorry, itchy nose. I've had such a head cold. Is everybody sick? I never get head colds. I had a doozy of a head cold. After being really sick in November, I kind of felt like it was unfair. Anyway, I'm probably going to backstitch it all at once. Because really, who wants to go back to backstitching, right? Better just take your medicine all at once. And then I will make sure I have it framed in time to put up in the fall. And I will immediately start another one on a much nicer fabric and a different count for sure. But I was really proud of the fact that I got this done. This is not, if you had said to me this time last year, if you are going to finish one of your big projects, what is it going to be? Definitely not Autumn in the Village. That would never have come up. But alas, there you go. Okay, so next, plans. Let's talk plans for a second. My plans, and actually they are underway. I am very sorry. This cold is something else. I'm going to start and finish the Valentine's Tier by Erin Elizabeth. I think I showed it a few videos ago. I bought it. My plan was start it January 1st. I probably started it, I don't know, January 7th because I was finishing Autumn in the Village. And that was well worth my time. But I'm going to start and finish this. It's not really that big. I mean, I thought it would be bigger. Probably wished it would be bigger. I'll show it to you in when I come back in February for my January stitching update. It will be finished, started and finished in the same month. So that's really all, that's like my only plan for right now. I don't plan a whole year ahead. No, not who I am. Although I just told you I'm a planner, and I am. I just know how squirrely this can get. So, Okay, so let's do haul because it's sitting. Hold please while I get it. Okay. Come on. Hello. I'm back. So my haul. So Joey, forget about it. In my constant complaint that no one ever takes anything off of my wish list from the various wish lists I have out there for cross stitch, decided he would take it upon himself. So first one is, he knows I'm a Dimensions fan. He is a huge Dimensions fan. He just loves all the things that I've done, like A Treasure Time is his favorite. So this is called Dimensions Gold Holiday Village. And I don't know when I will start this, but I will start it. I could wait until I'm done one of my dimensions that are now on the go. We'll see. I don't really know, but isn't that just the nicest scene? I'm sorry for the glare. It's not even a sunny day, but I will probably change out the fabric because I believe it is 16 count gray. So you can see the fabric. And it's full coverage, but it isn't. You know what I mean? Like that sky is just leaving negative space. So I feel like I want a nicer fabric for this. But we'll see. Next, he got me Mill Hill Buttons and Beads, Christmas Village, the Firehouse. Our middle child is a firefighter. He's actually the fire chief in the town we live in. And he's the fire marshal for the county we live in. And he's an instructor at the county fire academy. So fire, 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 fire. I have completed already, and if you've been with me from the very beginning, you've seen this in past finishes, the needleworker shop and the bookseller, my two favorite things combined. And I'm working on the Mill Hill Tree Farm, which I did not show in my whip parade because I forgot. It's in a different, it's not in a bag. It's in like a whipper keeper kind of thing. So as soon as the tree farm is done, this will start. And hopefully I'll have it done by Christmas. They're not really that hard to do. The charts are small. They're kind of hard to read, but I don't know. I don't really have an excuse. And then my last, but not least, but least for now, or last for now, Atomic Ranch Fabric of the Month Club. This was the surprise color for December, and it is called Frankincense, and you are getting none of this color. It is I don't know if closer's better. No, we won't waste a lot of time. You're not going to get it. It is a butter yellow. So it's a beautiful piece of fabric, and it's a beautiful color. Does not in any way give me a Christmas vibe at all. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I thought frankincense, I thought if it was anything, it was gold. But I don't know, right? Do we know? Does anybody know the color of frankincense? I actually looked it up. And for just saying, like, what is the color of frankincense? The answers were so vague that after I read them, I still didn't know what the color of frankincense was. So, okay. So, that's frankincense. That would make, and I know you can't say it because it just didn't come out and because of my lighting today. It would make a great summer something. Maybe Summer in the Village by Stony Creek could be a good thing. But frankincense is the name of the fabric. I don't get a Christmas vibe at all. So, okay, moving on. Next segment, it's the little things. I have to be honest, I really wanted to get this filmed So I did not, I usually go back to my previous videos, not the whip parade, but the one before that, and read everyone's comments, because everybody always gives me the little things they're grateful for. And I say this all the time, you know, we're all grateful for our health and our family and our freedom and all of those things we know. What little things are you grateful for that maybe you don't even think about? So hit me with some, and this way next month I'll make up for what I missed this month. But I will tell you my little thing this year, this month. Well, there's two actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I am grateful for cover-up makeup, because my nose is very, very red, and I just put some cover stick and a little foundation, and at least made me presentable, but you can still hear me sniffling. And under my eyes, for some reason, my contact lenses have been killing me, and my eyes have been so itchy, and they're swollen. They're still swollen. But a little cover stick under them takes away that like swollen look underneath. So I'm grateful for that. More importantly, I am grateful that my house is back in order. By that I mean Christmas is officially packed away. Boxes are back in the attic. Every year that gets harder because we clearly are not getting younger. And we methodically put it all away. And we had a little kerfluffle. My daughter-in-law was 23 weeks pregnant. And when they did an anatomy scan that was scheduled, it turned out that her cervix had shortened, and they admitted her to the hospital immediately. And she's still there. 2 weeks later, she's still pregnant. Hi, me again. My iPad storage was full, so I'm going to try and splice these two videos together. But now I'm talking faster than ever because I don't know how much more time I have. And I don't know if I can splice them together or not. If I can, I have to re-record. So I was just telling you about my daughter-in-law. All is good, but we have our 3-year-old grandson a lot, so that my son can go back and forth to the hospital. And for the first couple of days, which were like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, he was there all the time because she was in a very dangerous position. And she's obviously, her and the baby are not out of the woods yet, but she's stable. She's in a great hospital. And so we, of course, are taking the baby as much as we can, hence the need for the cover stick. You see where I'm going here? Also, the reason that the Christmas decoration, de-decorate, took so long, we didn't have a lot of time, and we had an almost 4-year-old wanting to help. So that's that. Moving on real fast. Book talk. Sorry, I need to put my cheaters on. I read a few books, and all of them were interesting, these books I'm going to tell you. First one, The Gold in These Hills by Joanne Bischoff. She is a floss tuber. I believe she is the storyteller stitcher. She is an author. That is her professional job. And she mentioned this one book, so I decided to read it, The Gold in These Hills. Very good, very heartwarming, very faith, hope, love-based. Not a big mystery to it. You know, I'm a mystery reader. But really good, worth a read, and her floss tube is fabulous. So go check her out. Because I didn't tell you who I was watching, because I wasn't. In the month of December, I was not watching any floss tubers at all. I was on a true crime podcast kick, but a visual one, so that I was watching them instead of, to me, podcasts traditionally where you can only hear them. Now you can see them and hear them. So, but I did see Joanne, I believe in December, although I think she mentioned the book earlier than that. But she has a whole bunch of books out, so I will definitely read another. I read The Kill Clause by Lisa Unger on Kindle. So The Gold in These Hills I read in an actual book. The Kill Clause I read on my Kindle. It was just a Christmas short, and it was about a female assassin that was assigned to go kill her target, and his 6-year-old daughter, who was not supposed to be there, was there in the house. So she did not complete her assignment, and then all the things that ensue. Next, the Christmas Murder Game audiobook. I honestly did not take the time to see who wrote this. I just wanted to get this filmed. Listen to it on audiobook. This is a book that I would suggest would be better served if you read it, because you're trying to listen to the clues. So this woman has this big estate, and she assembles all of her family there, and she gives 12 clues over Advent, which actually starts Christmas Day, and ends, I think, at the Epiphany. And every day, whoever finds the key based on those clues gets there's key. It's a puzzle that helps you locate the key. One of those 12 keys is going to open whatever and give them the key to the estate, and then they win the house hands down. No other heir gets anything. So that's what it's about. But of course, murder ensues, and I feel like it's better if you read it, because I listened to it, and the poems that were the clues, the sonnets, you had to listen really closely. Whereas if you're reading it, you could just go back and read it when the characters are discussing, like, oh, this is why we're looking in the wine cellar because of this line in the clue. Like, I would have had to go back, and I wasn't going to do that. So I would suggest that would be a good book to read as opposed to listen to. Last one, The Lions of Fifth Avenue. I also did not bother to stop and write down who wrote this, but I'm sure there are not too many books with this name. And it's dual timelines, 1914 and 1993, and they are related. The 1914 ends up being the grandmother of the 1993 person, and it is a mystery. It's a big mystery, but it's dual timelines. It's very interesting, very unique, and it takes place in the New York Library. I don't know what New York Public Library. Same building, 1914 and 1993, so very interesting. So I would recommend any of those books. Next, binge talk. I mean, let's be honest. What are we binging in December if you're me? You're binging Hallmark. A lot of Hallmark, so much Hallmark, that I could not wait for it to just not feel the need to watch another Hallmark movie. The only other thing we binge, probably like during New Year's and, in the last week or so, is the latest season of Only Strangers in the Building. Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. Another fantastic season. Another very tricky one. So I strongly recommend that, but I would start, if you've never seen it, start with season 1, just because it kind of gives you a feel for these characters, for those 3 characters, and there are recurring characters because obviously they live in a building in New York City, but it's probably best watched from season 1 forward, even though each season the murder is independent, has really nothing to do with the previous season. But those 3 central characters you kind of want to get a lay of the land with them. So that is my recommendation. Okay, I think this only says 7 minutes, but I think I was at like 26 minutes. So longer than I thought. Hopefully I don't have to re-record this tomorrow. And I will be back. So let me know what your grateful things are, and or the little things you're grateful for. And I will see you probably mid-February with a January recap. So until then, stay warm. Hopefully if you love snow, I hope you get a lot. If you hate snow, I hope you don't get any. And we're not even talking to you people in Florida, so just ignore us. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.